Thanks for staying with us. Well, many of us are strapped for cash because of the tough economy, and it's easy to get behind on car and house payments. But getting behind can land you in legal trouble. We have a viewer question on this topic. The viewer writes, "My father and I co-signed on a loan for a vehicle in 2007. I had to do a voluntary repossession on it in March of 2010. After more than 2.5 years of not hearing from the bank, we find out we're being sued by them. This is after I tried to work out payments for the difference on what I owed, and I never heard from them. So what do I do?" Here with some advice on this issue is our legal expert, attorney Jay Davis from James W. Davis and Associates. Jay, thanks for being here again. We appreciate it.
Andrew.
So does the bank or the plaintiff have a case against these people 2.5 years after they even talk to each other, or after they even...
This is probably going to be considered a written contract. That's what it's based off of, and those are generally a statute of limitations of 6 years. In courts of equity, like the Superior Court, depending on what the court's filed, it's possible that latches, which is just a term that they just sort of waited too long, but no real statute limit, you could argue that it's probably not going to prevail.
So as long as the bank contacts them within 6 years, you say there's a statute
Well,
of limitations?
there's a suit. They would need to file suit. If they waited six years and a day to file suit, it'd be too late.
Now, are both co-signers responsible for this? I mean, I'm sure one is probably more responsible than the other. How does it work?
Co-signers are equally responsible on a debt. Many times somebody says, yeah, just sign for me, I'll be responsible for the debt. But if that person doesn't pay, or if that person pays late, that's your credit that it's going on to. So when people co-sign, they need to really think about what they're doing, whether or not they trust that person to keep the same type of credit that they have themselves.
Do you see this a lot, where the banks will come, years later after, they haven't spoken to their clients at all in a long time? The clients have tried to reach out to them. In this case, the viewer says that they tried to reach out to them, but they never heard back. So how does that work? Is there a case?
They can sit on the case.
Do they have a case in court for that, since they haven't heard back from the bank in a long time?
No, I mean, they probably could have started making payments if they thought that they owed something. They could have made some sort of arrangement. They didn't make that arrangement. The question is how much they owe. This is a repossession of a vehicle. I believe some of the information that was in the question, not all of it was read on air, but I believe it was $5,400. It was the difference between the price, the value of the vehicle at the time it was returned, and the amount that was owed on there. That's not necessarily the right calculation. And so when they go to court, they're going to need to determine what would be the correct calculation. Did the company sell the car for close to what the person paid?
So what's your best advice that you have for this person? What should they do to try to get the most out of this case?
The best way to get the most out of it is probably, if it's around $5,400, which is what the case seemed to call, it's probably going to get to expensive litigation for having to really truly defend it. We offer at our law firm a paid consultation. Many times consultations are free, designed to trap somebody in to try to hire an attorney. But we offered a paid consultation to determine whether or not you could do something better yourself. And we give advice on how they could handle it. In this case, the first thing they'd probably need to do is have an attorney read over exactly what the complaint is that's filed against them, or the person and the co-signer, and see what's there and how much, if that number's right, and then start disputing it one line at a time.
Well, tell people where you're located so that if someone does have a situation like this, they can come to you.
We're at 143 Lamar Street, right 3 red lights up from Fountain Car Wash.
Okay, so downtown Macon.
Off of Vineville.
And you can send us your legal questions and we will answer them right here on the air. All you have to do is email them to itsthelaw@41nbc.com, and we run It's the Law every Wednesday.